So I do utilize the information that I've given you. Out of all over 100 plus videos on scattered across so many platforms, I do utilize the advice that I give you, okay? So much so that I really have, and I think if you've watched my videos in my catalog, you can see it's been a long time coming for me in the way that I navigate the dating world and how I've taken breaks and how I've gone out there and just kind of floated. Well, this particular point in time, after coming to the decision that, or coming to the realization that there really isn't, I'm not, like, if I wanted to find a person, and I really don't anymore, and I know I talked about that in previous videos, the freeing feeling that you get of not dating, or I think it really warrants its own video, what I've been going through. And like I said in the previous video, it was an unexpected journey, but the feeling that you get from not being in the scene and but being there, but not being of it. I mean, it's its own big O.
Okay, if you know what I'm talking about.
This is YouTube and it's the kid-friendly channel, so you know how we have to do. Okay, so it is very freeing and orgasmic not to be in the dating world now, especially because so many people are losing their shit. Like on a daily basis, we can just click on the internet, click on the news, and just see how many people have lost their mind for the day. And it's really, when you go through certain changes, like be it emotional changes, and not changes as in just changes, but growth, whether it be unexpected or expected, when you know that you're reaching new heights in your life, the way that you look at the world and the way that you look at people is different. And like I said, for me, it was a regression. It was me going back to old models that really saved me and saved me time, saved me heartache, and just really kept me nailed to my goals in life. And like, there's been nothing better than that.
Nothing better than
having a sort of, in the Black community, we like to talk about a code. Okay, all about staying on code.
There's no code. I've been alive for 1,000 years. There's no code. Nobody sent me the book. I'm one of the oldest vampires. No one sent me a book about codes.
Okay, when you talk about code, I'm like, Python? Are we talking about Python? R, SQL? What are we talking about? That's the only coding I know. I don't know about any Black code. It's about you developing your own code for yourself and how you're going to navigate this world and how you're going to live to your fullest potential. And I just have to tell you, and I know that a lot of my audience is Black women and sprinkled with some white men.
Hello.
But the biggest code and the biggest prize of your life is gonna start, begin, and end with you. It really is. It's not gonna come from anyone else, and it's not gonna come from you having children. I'm not saying that that's not gonna be rewarding. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying the biggest hallmarks and the biggest revelations and epiphanies and the biggest gifts that are going to be given unto you are going to come from you and your self-discovery, your self-awareness, and everything that you put into yourself. And it's not going to come from a man. It's not going to come from dating. It's just not. It hasn't throughout history. It just hasn't. You can ask women, you can dig up women from 1,000 years ago, and they'll tell you that it's not coming. It's a train. You wait on a train that ain't coming, a ship that ain't docking, a flight that ain't landing. You're just doing it. If you expect any of that to come from someone outside of you, and this goes for men too. In this dating world, I've been of it, but not in it. Okay, shave my head. I use this as an excuse of me not being in a dating world. You know, I'm bald, and American men really need you to have long hair. So, so that their masculinity isn't challenged and they don't have to think whether or not how your hair makes them feel. So I'm cool. I can go to Europe and get married tomorrow, like looking like this. Okay. I'm cool. So it gives me a breather, and it gives me a breather to always just aim for the internal, always just aim for the immaterial, that which has substance. And I love it. Right. So I have in me just kind of bouncing around and not taking too much on. And I'll get a little bit into that too. And just meeting people and meeting different people. Sometimes your wires do get crossed, and sometimes it's unavoidable. You know, you meet people who are compatible with you. You can say astrologically, energetically, people who are really on a deeper level compatible with you, but they're not doing the work, you know, and that's the thing. The attraction and chemistry is so, I almost want to say it's so delicate that you can have a person whom you're physically attracted to, who is compatible with you, as far as, I guess, birth chart, astrologically. And if they're off, it's gonna, you have to call the whole thing off. But they can have all that, but if they're a drug addict, if they have all that, but if they are a thief or a compulsive liar, it's not gonna work, no matter how much you could possibly want it to work, because those other flaws that they have are like imperative to a successful, not even relationship, but just being with another human being, like being able to coexist with another human being. So I did meet someone, and I was a little bit rattled because, like I said, I've been in my soloness. I've been enjoying my soloness. Me and my bald head. We've been enjoying being solo out here in these streets and not getting involved. And, you know, running into this person, I felt like, you know how it is when you're walking down the street and you step in some dogs and you like, man, like, what the hell? You know, I just stepped in it. That's what I felt like when the attraction ignited. I felt like I stepped in dogs. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. So I've been really just trying to extricate myself from this. And so, you know, being the new me that I am, I'm not even before, I'm not a person that's just gonna go all feelings in with a person just because I'm attracted to them and when we have chemistry. I need to know, what is the basis of this attraction? And I know a lot of people don't do this and they think that it's silly, but the older you get, the more you need to do this. The more you need to ask yourself questions like this. Why am I attracted to this person, and on what level? Is it just physical? Or is it sexual? Is it mental? Like, where are we connecting? Where's this connection coming from? And you have to kind of really like address that. And so you know what you're dealing with within you, so that you can understand where your urges are coming from and what you may be, let's say, what you may be coerced into doing, or what you may do impulsively. You want to know what the root cause of your action is going to be. And so, you know, I kind of just, I was taken for a loop because, like I said, I hadn't liked anyone in almost, this is like 6 months, we're going into June. I haven't liked anyone for a really long time, and I've been happy with that. And then I meet this person, and then I'm like, okay, I stepped in some shit. So I got to kind of figure out my way through this, because I'm not getting into a relationship. I'm really enjoying my soloness and not being with anyone. I've taken myself off the market. I'm not on dating sites. Even when they message me, I just look at it and I just kind of going about, click off the site. I'm not available. I'm not emotionally checked in.
I'm checked out.
I don't have time to entertain, because I know what it's going to be. I know what it's going to be. What I'm gonna have to put up with, and it's probably not going to be a match, because it's just like there's a certain current ebb and flow in my environment that people go on, and usually I go against that current. So, you know, I'm very comfortable on my solo tip. But with this person, they're like the right height, they're physical, and they like on a professional level, we're like kind of, you know, we vibe, they work as much as I do. I mean, there's a lot of attractive things on the market, but here's the thing. This person is a horrible communicator.
Like, horrible.
They're horrible. And I'm like, for you to be a male who has grown up in this country, lived in this country your entire life, and you're almost as old, you're an older vampire than I am. And you mean to tell me you are not capable of really just having a full out conversation, like you shy away, like there's all sorts of things. And like the first conversation we had, like I had to ask one of his coworkers, I was like, is he okay? Like, does he need a friend? Or like, is he, is he, I sensed something was off. And a lot of times, let me tell you, when this is the society we live in, a person can very well be off. Something can be, like, let's just say off. Let's be kind.
Okay? Let's be kind.
Something can be off about a person, but their friends won't tell you. They'll be like, oh no, that's not blood dripping from his mouth. No, that's not, no, he's not foaming from the mouth. No, that's just a little bit of a glisten. That's just like the glow that you have on your face. Oh no, that's not, that's not blood. It's not, they will, for their friends. And I guess that's a sense of loyalty. That's men. Men will cover for men. However, our intuition as women, which we have to maintain, which I have to talk about, we have to be loyal to our intuition if we expect it to work. Because saying that we don't know something is happening, we weren't paying attention, or we didn't see the signs, all of that is going out of style. That's going out of style like bell bottoms. We can't keep saying that we're unaware of things when our intuition keeps telling us.
Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
I noticed this person was a horrible communicator. Like, I could just see him like leaving the conversation, coming in and out. And I'm like, okay. You could see that there was chemistry, but like I said, like the focus was off. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm dealing with someone with some sort of disorder, or someone is on the tweak. Well, you just never know. You just never know, right? So that was that particular time. We did exchange numbers we exchanged numbers, but I have other people's numbers that he works with. And like I said, it's all very platonic and all very casual and clean, on the up and up. And even when like we texted, it was just off. Like there was no connection. Like we were two people having two different conversations with each other. It was weird. And then again, like then we talked the third time we texted, it was better, but it was just kind of, it was better, but I was like, okay, fine, that person's busy. But in that person, I just noticed that they disappear frequently. Like, and so because they disappear, I just think that that's their thing. Like people don't close out real conversations. I'll close out a conversation, but necessarily like, that person doesn't know how to close out a conversation. Like I said, they're a bad communicator, which you have to know as a wise person that if you get involved with a person who's a bad communicator, guess what? They're not going to be able to talk to you in that relationship. It's going to be trash. It's going to evolve quickly into trash because you're not going to know what's going on because they're not going to tell you, or they're going to kind of weasel their way or do something. I don't know. It's just going to be weird. And I don't have time for weird. And so like, I saw the person a while ago, and the meeting that we had, or with our interaction when we met, it was just very weird, and it was high school, and it extinguished all the feeling, all the attraction that I had for this person. It just extinguished it. And I was just like, wow, like, this is what we're doing. Like, it didn't have nothing to do with other people or anything like that. Again, it was all about communication. And I was just really kind of just thrown off how bad, even in person, it had deteriorated. And so I was just like, okay, well, that's why you wait for it. That's why you take your time getting to know people. Don't play out. Don't pick out your wedding dress. Don't play out scenarios in your mind just because you meet someone, you're attracted to you. I mean, they're attracted to you, you're attracted to them, and they may be exciting to you, you may be exciting to them. Don't rush the boat with people, because you just don't know where it's going to happen, like what's going to happen with it. Because like I said, it was definitely an issue where the communication was even worse than than all other previous communications with him. And I just learned something that I'm glad that like I said, all the advice and all the things that I say to you all, I utilize myself. I don't say one thing and do another. I took my time with this person and to get to know, what was I actually attracted to? I was actually just attracted to them physically, and then we had an energetic compatibility. Do I think that we have something worth working on? And a lot of women, and this is where we can get to it. I know that there's a lot of women out there who would be like, well, we have this so far, so maybe we can work on it in the very beginning. No, sweetie, don't work on that. Don't work on that. Like I said, this is an older vampire than me, okay? And so you mean to tell me in all of your years on this planet, you haven't found a way to communicate with people? All these years. I've been here decades and decades and decades, okay? And you have been too. You mean to tell me you don't know how to like really have a conversation, or how to kind of like just conduct yourself properly? I'm not saying this person is silly, but I'm just saying that this person I feel like I'm in high school with this person, and I really detest that. And I don't like feeling like I'm in high school. Why? Because I'm not. At least they can make me feel like I'm back at university.
At least that.
But I'm not. I'm not in university. So, and if you're older, you're a business owner, we're both doing our professional things, I expect that all your wisdom, all your life, or you can stand up straight. Let's just say that. I expect that you can stand up straight. And baby, you just bent over, and I'm not used to talking to people like that, or especially men. And I don't know what's going on in his world, albeit, and definitely something is going. I mean, some of the texts went straight off the cliff, and I was just like, really, you saying this to me already? Like, really? But I understand. I am a bit, like I said, I have a lot of boundaries. I enforce my boundaries, so there's a certain thing that, I'm really kind of like reserved. I'm reserved in conversation to talk about, for the first 2 or 3 conversations. I just don't think we're going to talk about it. But, this person was just kind of, like I said, he kind of went off the cliff. So I just noticed that, no, this isn't worth trying to work something out over. This isn't worth working on or seeing what's going to happen next. No.
It's a no for me, dog.
It's a no. It's a no for me. I don't want to try to see if things will get better, if maybe this person was having a bad week. No, I don't want to do any of that. Because my thing is that we have to start looking at it. If he were in his 20s, I can accept that. But the bad thing is, the tricky thing about that is I have conversations with 20-something-year-olds already. I'm very cool with some certain 20-something-year-olds, and guess what? They don't behave like that. And he, like I said, he's an old vampire. So maybe he should have been staked a long time ago, or maybe he's just, I don't know, maybe he's not getting enough darkness or something, because I just don't get him being, I don't know, just off. And like I said, it's not salvageable. And I think that we as women have to know when, we have to know when somebody's a show on legs. I'm not going to go too much into this person's business, because I kind of suspect people will be telling me that they see some of my videos and I'm a nobody on here. But people be saying, oh, you look familiar. And I'm like, oh, no, I really don't. So I play it off really cool. But it's a small world. And trust me, my environment is very small. So I can't go into too many details. But what I can say is that, I wouldn't want to work out anything. I don't see anything being worth it. I don't chase after men. I don't. That is a cardinal sin in my code, to chase after men, especially someone of another. I'm sorry. I just don't think it's supposed to be like that. And it's never been set up in my life for me to have to do that. So I'm not familiar with that world of being super aggressive with men, because I've never had to be on any continent. Um, so it's a no for me. But like I said, I have learned that we need to be able to recognize when there are people right in the onset, when people have flaws. Like, serious, not being a good communicator is a serious flaw, and I think a lot of people would like to kind of brush it off or whatever, but no, that's not something that you brush off. You can't brush off someone who's a tweak or someone who has other issues. No, that's desperation. That's what people who are desperate do. You know, the lying and the, oh, well, he's a ladies' man, and you're getting started. You like this person, and this is already what you're dealing with on the onset. No, sweetie, that's a recipe for disaster. You know, and like I said, I date analytically, so it doesn't make sense for me um, to keep going with that. And I'm, like I said, I'm cool with all his coworkers and things like that, or people who work for him and all of that, and that's good enough for me. And I'll have a drink or meet up with one of them or something, probably next week or something like that. But dealing with him it's a no for me. I'm not really. I can't babysit, and I'll close out this video by saying this: I'm not babysitting anybody in anymore. I need people to kind of, and I'm not even talking about as far as a relationship. I'm not talking about as far as a relationship. I'm just saying people. Communication is a basic skill. You learn that in kindergarten. Okay, like when we're in kindergarten, we're sitting down, we're talking about communication and listening. If you remember back in school, you know, we had the big report cards. We were getting E's back then, okay? And it was about communication skills, listening skills, and things, and arithmetic. They used to call it back in the day. What were you doing? What was he doing when we were learning that? Did something happen to him? Is he traumatized or something like that? And if that's something, then that's something that you kind of speak up about. Well, you know, I'm a little bit, you know, because such and such, such and such. That's not something you take off the table or you hide, because people are going to think something is wrong with you. I'm not going to run towards you. I'm going to run away from you, like I've basically done. I'm not for anyone, male or female. I can't have people in my circle who are bad communicators and people who don't listen. That's not something that I can tolerate anymore. And I would urge other people to pick up that boundary or that standard of not being around people who are just bad communicators. Bad communicators make up. Bad communicators, you have to keep their text so that you can pull it out when you need to. Not so you can put it online, but so you can pull it out and say, look, this is what you said. This was the conversation. And I'm a person, I know about that. Like I said, I'm very logical minded. So I can remember the context of a situation and what was said. I can break everything down. You just can't, I'm a person, you just can't say whatever to me. You just can't say whatever you want to me, because I'm going to ask you about it. What do you mean by that? Well, you said this and I said this. And I can stand on anything that I say. I can stand firmly on anything I say and tell you why I said it. But you may not like it.
Okay, you may not like it.
Okay, but that's your problem, okay? So I'm really gonna end this video because it's already 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes. But like I said, I just really want to reiterate is that recognizing when a person is a show on legs. Be it maybe they got some other issues, and a lot of people have issues. Hell, the president's son has issues. A lot of people in America, we're just gonna focus on the US or the Western world, have issues. And sometimes it's best that when you notice that, when your intuition is telling you that something else is going on with someone, that you pay attention. Your intuition is there for a reason, and it's become more popular for us to ignore our intuition as women and men. Men have intuition too, but they keep it in their mind. The one thing, men are slick, man. They slick. They have intuition, but they'll keep it in mind. They'll keep a lot of things that you do in mind. They won't tell you about it, but they'll keep it in mind. Anyway, it's become more popular for us to ignore our intuition than it is for us to actually listen to it and follow it. And as far as red flags, The universe gave me red flags about this individual, and guess what? I only needed 3, because I always say with this, if I'm interested in a person and I have no idea why, and I think I'm super smitten, and it really is for a foolish reason or something that I think is really ungrounded, especially we haven't yet been on a date, we're just kind of like around each other, I'm gonna say, I would say to myself, I would tell myself, you know what? Just give it time. Give it time. He's going to show you who he is. Give it time. Just be around this person about 3 or 4 times. And like I said, I'm analytical. I'm going to analyze a lot. I'm going to analyze what he says, how he says it, what he does, how he is. And sometimes you can understand when things are just somebody's nervous or somebody's just this, or you can just understand. You can notice when people just have other things going on. Okay? And that's what you don't really want to be a part of. So, like I was saying, listen to your intuition and be ready to push back from the table. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that video and I talked about pushing back from the table, and just say, no, thank you. I'll pass. See you in the next one.